Let's start with significant news now on the debate surrounding concussion substitutes. The PFA and the World Players Union FIFPRO have written a letter to football's lawmakers calling for a change in the rules on concussion substitutes. Well, our reporter Rebecca Williams joins us live now. Rebecca, just tell us exactly what they're asking for.
Yeah, so this is quite a stand from the two unions. What they want to see is a change to the way that concussion substitutes are being run. We know in the Premier League there's been a trial running for the last few months for permanent concussion substitutes. So if a player's injured, has a head injury, they come off straight away. However, the likes of the PFA and FIFPRO now want to see temporary concussion substitutes trialled. And the reason for that is they believe it gives medical experts more time to assess a player. And in this letter, they go into detail about a number of cases that we've seen this year. So first of all, before the trial came in, we saw that awful clash between Raul Jimenez and David Luiz. Obviously, Raul Jimenez fractured his skull and has been out for a very, very long time. But in the letter, they also point to two other incidents which they say would have benefited from temporary concussion substitutes instead of permanent. And those are Issa Diop from West Ham and also Sheffield United's George Baldock. And they say initially they were assessed very quickly by medical staff and they continued to play. But when it was seen that the extent of their injury was considerably worse than had originally been thought, they then came off the pitch. But obviously, if you've got temporary concussion substitutes, it allows medical staff more time to assess players. So that is the stance from the PFA. They want to see an extended trial of that being carried out. And I just want to read you as well part of this letter that they have today sent to the rule makers, IFAB. This is what they've had to say. Since the beginning of IFAB's permanent concussion substitute trial, we've seen several incidents where the new laws of the game have fallen short of the objective and jeopardised player health and safety. We write to ask for the existing trial to be extended in order to test in parallel temporary concussion substitutes as soon as possible. Well, there is a lot of pressure now growing on the authorities. We know the FA are in favour of permanent concussion substitutes, so they say if there's any doubt, a player should just come off straight away. But nonetheless, the brain injury charity Headway, they also prefer the idea of temporary concussion substitutes that, of course, we've seen in things like rugby as well. And it comes at a time when in recent months we've seen so many former athletes come out and say that they are suffering from the effects of dementia as a result of things like concussion during their playing career, as a result of things like repeatedly heading the ball. And in fact, the latest research suggests that former footballers are 3.5 times more likely to die from degenerative brain injuries than the general population. So there is mounting pressure for authorities to do something about this, and certainly pressure now growing on a change to these trials in order to bring in these temporary concussion substitutes.